But I guess the reason for this is kind of the first live for the channel, so I can't tell. When you guys come in, if you want to, go ahead and type something in the chat so I can tell if you're in here, and we'll get started. Just going to kind of go over some stuff tonight. This is kind of like the first live stream of the channel, so kind of bear with me. But anyhow, we had a problem this year with our bull, and he didn't do his job. So pretty much all the cows and the heifers that I kept over, they're not going to calf this year. So you kind of missed out on well, you're going to miss out on a couple $1,000 anyhow for not having for not having the bull do its job. We actually got 4 people in here. Wow. If you guys if you want to type something in the chat, I'll be glad to answer any of your guys' comments or anything like that. And like I said, kind of bear with me. It's kind of the first live stream of the channel. If you can hear me all right, tell me, because it feels like I'm kind of mumbling. But anyhow, like I said, we actually, I didn't own a bull yet. I actually borrowed a bull off somebody, and we put him in the field, had him in there for about 4 or 5 months, and he just seen him get on some cows, but he must have not knocked it home. So, but anyhow, I got my own bull this year. Well, yeah, I bought him this year, and he's still a little young. I ain't got him in with him yet, but thank you, Tim. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, he just didn't get the job done this year. So like I said, I'm going to be out, 10 cows, let's just say $500 a piece. You can do the math. And so I don't know, I'm thinking about just going maybe into going every year, buying some steers and going that route. But Dean, like I was saying, we had a bull in, borrowed him off a buddy this year, and he just didn't do his job. I actually seen him get on some cattle or some cows, and he didn't knock it home. To say, I mean, he didn't do his job. So like I said, you're out a lot of money when that happens, and being small like we are here, you just can't. I mean, when you're spending $2,000 in hay a year, it's hard to justify it to keep them. And with the market the way it is right now, you can go buy some steers at the sale, throw them in the pasture in the summer, and sell them for $6 a pound. Especially with all what's going on in the U.S. right now. And I wanted to thank you, I hope, Dean, for, I mean, you comment on every video, and that helps out the channel. I appreciate that. Towards the end of this, guys, we'll probably do some type of giveaway for everybody that's in here. And since people are just now starting to get in, and I know some of you came last time, and sorry about that. We had a fire call, and I had to go on it. So, but anyhow, so he didn't do his job. So I got 5 cows here this year. I got some at my buddy's house, and even had a few of his cows here this summer, and they didn't get bred either. So kind of is what it is. Has anybody got any questions about anything that you've seen on the channel, or feel free to ask them. Oh, no problem, man. I will say, Dean, that makes a big difference on that tractor. I got my extensions for the 2038R, and I'll be honest with you, I'll go ahead and go through the story here real quick. But I had a Kubota to start off, and it was a BX series, and this is before I decided I wanted to get into cattle and stuff. But we had a good bit of acreage to mow, and I wanted something to mow it. And man, I put that Kubota on some hills, and the way I always do it, if I can put a tractor on the side of a hill in two-wheel drive and it goes across it fine, I don't worry about it too much. When I bought the 2038R, I could do the same thing I've done with the Kubota, two-wheel drive, and I just still didn't feel comfortable in it because I think it's the simple fact is you're setting up higher in the John Deere than you are the Kubota. But man, I put those wheel extensions on there, and it turned that tractor into just a different tractor, especially with what all you do with them. They're so versatile, and I have had it come up in the rear end, which I don't really run a ballast where I should sometimes, especially dealing with a 5x4 on that small tractor. But anyhow, I have had it come up, and I also turn my front tires out. They say on the industrial tire or R4 tire, whatever you want to call it, you're not supposed to turn them out, but I actually do. So, and I've not had no problems with it. But like I said, they the wheel extensions on the 2038R makes a huge difference. That little bit, I think it's what does it set it out, Dean? Like 4 more inches? Is that correct? I think somewhere right there. I know it can still cover the width of the 60-inch motor deck. I do know that much. If you guys wonder why I keep looking over here, I got the laptop opened up so I can see your comments better over here. Tim, I enjoy following your channel. Yeah, Tim, I think that's what I'm getting ready to get into. I've been doing this now for 3-4 years, and I've never bought a cow off of a sell lot. I just never have yet. And first of all, most of the time, you know, I took a cow there this year, so I ain't saying I ain't never sold them, and the reason I took her is she had soft feet, and I hated to take her. You know, she was a registered Angus cow, but she had soft feet, and every time I turned around, I was doctoring her foot, and with the way I work and stuff, it was just a pain in the butt to, you know, always do it. And we had a pretty dry summer this year, and she still had problems, and I was letting them go in the pond, which was partly my fault, and I did fence that off, and it seemed like every time it rained, she just had a problem. So I ended up taking her to sale, and she was the highest grossing cow at that sale that day. I think she brought me home $1,200 and some dollars, and she was a beast. And she also aborted the year before. She aborted, and strangest thing I've ever seen is I couldn't find any evidence where she did abort. But yeah, I'm thinking about getting into that. How many feeders do you run, Tim? We have, Jared, over just right at 20 some acres here. I actually looked into leasing a spot, and the guy with what went on last year, they didn't want kind of nobody around the farm, which I understand that. And there was about almost 100 acres I was going to buy or lease. There is just where I live right now, there just ain't no land around to buy up, or I'd like to buy some. I did pass on about 10 acres right across the road, but it was nothing but a big ravine or gully, whatever you want to call it, so I just kind of passed on it. And also, the people that took down the fence, or they let the neighbors have the post, and they just went and took the post and left the wire in there, and I just didn't feel like messing with that mess. But yeah, Jared, that's all we have right here is 20 acres. I do use some of my buddies. He has a farm that's about 20 miles away, and like this summer when grass got scarce, he has, I think, about 180 acres, and he only runs 15 head of cattle. So taking mine over there, it only took him up to 20, and so that's nice to have too. Does it affect when you drive her? It does when I flip out my front wheels, yes, Dean. The only time I dish my front wheels out's in the winter time when I know I'm going to be feeding round bells all the time. So, but yeah, it does make it a pain in the butt. I have put my mower deck on, and the little metal clips and parts you lift up to release your guide wheel, actually, I've broke them, bent them. But just being in a hurry. But it's so easy to do the tires on the take them out. You know, you just lift the front of it with the loader and take the impact and go. But yeah, if you turn your front wheels out, it is going to be a pain in the butt. I don't know if I'd say it probably would be on the 72, because I'd say it's set up the same as a 60-inch. How you doing, Matt? Thanks for stopping in. Dang, you run 20 head of cattle, Tim. That's pretty good. Like I said, I have a buddy that lives down, I don't know, about 5 miles from me, and I think they pasture maybe 10 acres, if that, and most of it's woods. But excuse me, he goes about every year and gets 3-4 head of cattle, and usually sells them, and he does pretty good with it. I think this year, I'm wanting to say he was doing $5 a pound, but when chaos hit, I know some of my buddies, they were doing $6 a pound for burger. I mean, it's unreal what they were getting out of burger this year. But yeah, that, like I said, that's what I'd love to do, is get in. I think I may start getting into some feeders and going that route. I don't know yet. The part that I hate the most is my cattle are so tame. It's always a good selling point, but the one, which her name's Tabitha, is she's actually the wife and the daughter's cow. But I decided if I do, I'm gonna give her away to my buddy, and I told him, I said, you just can't sell her. So, but buying off an individual around here, Tim, would just be, it would be hard, because everybody wants top dollar out of their cows, where you can go to a sale barn around here and get, sometimes you can pick, if you don't want to stay black, and if you want to go to the Hereford, man, you can go 60-70 cents a pound. I mean, it's just unreal. One sale I did go to last year, which I do go to them, just keep up with the market, but one sale I did go to, the red actually brought more than the black, believe it or not. Yeah, that's what I like to do too, is feed them out in the summer. Which, how do you feed yours out, Tim? Do you do a corn, or do you sweet feed? Or I'd like the corn myself. I think I'm gonna have to go turn down my portable. It's probably gonna drive you guys nuts. But yeah, that would be my plan, is to probably get 6 or so and feed them out, corn them out, give them a high protein feed, get them built up. And of course, that's all I feed, a 16% high protein feed. Towards the end of their tenured here at the farm, they would go on a real fine corn to get in. But I think that's where your money would be at. Then I think I would go ahead and still buy maybe 20 round bells, which I get those off the buddy that does my cattle, because he gives me a pretty good break on my hay. So, but yeah, we got the new Dean. We got the new camper this year. I'm not much one for going out to places. Uh, with my job, it's kind of a little bit stressful, but I just don't like to be around people. I kind of like not having to go to the restaurants and stuff right now, which, we do eat out some, but she'll usually bring it home. But I decided to get the camper. I'd like to probably here, as soon as it warms up around here, it's actually starting to get pretty cold. I'd like to take it down southern part of the state and do some trout fishing down there. How you doing, Titus? Hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, I think the camper will be a new addition. I'm anxious to. Uh, I can tell you one thing. When I did pull it home, my Duramax, you could tell it was back there for being as. I think it only weighs 7,000 dry, and I've had 15 round bells behind that thing before, and you know I could tell they were there, but the camper you could really tell was there, which it really it really surprised me because I didn't even figure. I mean, that trailer's actually half-ton towable, so. We got some Holstein steers this year. Yeah, Holsteins around here, a lot of times, and Jared, I ain't sure where you're from, but a lot of times they just give them away. A lot. I mean, uh, I can tell you, my neighbor across the hill, they have about a 400-acre farm over there, and I bet you he's got 6 or so Holsteins just gave to him, and he keeps them and breeds them to his Angus bull, and after a couple breedings of holding, if it's a heifer, holding its heifer over and breeding it, you actually get a pretty nice cow, which I've always heard Holstein has a real good meat. You just don't get much to them. But uh, if that's $1.19 now, I mean, that ain't too bad. Like I said, my buddy just went to a sale, the first sale around here the other day. He said steers were going anywhere from 70 cents a pound. And I didn't ask him if they were black or red or whatever, but he said they were going from anywhere from 70 cents to $1.30. So you would think the cattle market would be, I mean, around here you can't get into a butcher shop. So, I mean, you better book way in advance. I'd like to got some hogs, but I can't get them in to get them butchered. So, but like I was telling earlier, on my one cow I had to take after I had her doctored up and she was doing fine for a while, I actually thought about burging her, making her out of burger, because $6 a pound, whew, that adds up quick, and had been a lot more than what I got out of her at the sale. I can tell you that, about $3,000 more. But again, I guess kind of soft-hearted because she was actually Tab's mom, and like I said, my cattle have got out once, and still to this day I don't know how the one got out. And the one neighbor has the bigger farm, which his cattle ain't as nice. He said, "You want some help?" I said, "No." I took a grain bucket out there, and it didn't even pay attention to me hardly. And I said, we was getting ready to go somewhere, and I ended up I said, I know what it is. So I fired up the side by side, and as soon as they hear that side by side, they come running. That's what my cattle are trained to, pretty much, is when they see that garage door open and that side by side start backing out, they start paying attention. Hunting season, it usually messes with them pretty hard because I'm always going up by the fence with them to, go hunting. But Dean, I'm in the hills of West Virginia, the northern part of the state, close to PA. I agree, Tim. I agree with that. Like I said, I mean, around here though, most of these guys right now, you're not going to touch anything for less than $4 a pound from a farmer. Uh, I tried to actually buy some steers off the neighbor, and he wanted 375 a pound, and you just can't justify it sometimes. Yeah, Titus, I can't remember. Did I? Are you the one that won off of the kind of the first live stream? I kind of really never went live, but I remember one of you Taylors came in there and ended up winning something. I believe it was the tactical light for a gun. Mine do follow the tractor, Tim. It's when I take up hay, which you've seen my videos, I'm sure. So I have the 2038R John Deere, and that Tabitha, when I'm taking the string off after I get done taking the string off the bell and everything, I tell you what, she rocks that tractor pretty good because she starts itching her back on it. So yeah, it's sometimes it gets. I enjoy watching her do it, but the tractor's out so much, and the neighbor has so much equipment, and he's always running it, and so they really don't pay attention to it much. But like I said, if it's in the field and they see a hay bale on it, they know what's going on. But yeah, you guys. And Titus, you're not too far from me, I don't believe. I can't remember the address that we shipped that to. I'd have to look it up on an email. But you guys ain't too far away. I'm close to Morgantown. I don't know how far Morgantown is away from you. Also, you just put your grain in the bucket of the tractor. Yeah, that'd work. How much do you usually feed your cattle? Do you feed them every day, Tim? But yeah, I think if you look at the long term in the cattle industry, which the U.S. don't make no sense to me because we're the only people that import beef. You know, most of our beef goes to China because of our strict regulations. So then we import it from everywhere. I mean, it just, yeah, 125, that going. Yeah, I didn't think you guys were that far away. And like I said, I couldn't remember the address, but I knew you weren't too far away from me. But that's what actually organic beef cattle. Joseph, I think, as bad as I hate to say it, because I do not like the taste of it, I've tried it. It's gristly. I think that is the market to be in. So, organic cattle, grass-fed organic cattle will make you money. I go to the farmers markets around here. I believe in supporting the smaller farmers at the farmers market, and there's a couple up there that sell grass-fed beef, which I bought some of it just to try it, and like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it is a good market to be in because everybody's on the health kick, that I like to call it. So yeah, it's I think it would be a good venture to get in. Actually, this year, I know you came in a little bit late, but if my bull would have done its job, I had all my cattle sold to a guy that wanted to do grass-fed organic beef, and he was actually, because I told him, I said, you know, once my calves are old enough, they get 16 grower feed, a 16% grower feed, and he didn't want that, and I told him, which, you know, you can get it out of minerals, liquid, whatever you want to do, but you know, that's why I told him he's going to have to either pay for it or pay the price for it. I mean, just as simple as that. What's up at Fix It Guy? Guys, go check out his channel. It's pretty good. He does a good job. But he, like I said, guys, they I don't know. He does. The organic would be the, in my mind, it would be the way to go is organic, in my opinion. So, but I'm on Mississippi Coast, 2 blocks from the beach, 80 degrees. Boy, that'd be nice sometimes, Tim. But that humidity down there, I just can't. I actually had a job offer down in South Carolina, well, North Carolina, South Carolina border, and it'd be at a gold mine down there that my buddy's the general manager of, and the heat down there, I know when we go to the beach, it's like you have to carry a bottle of Gold Bond around with you. So, but I feed 15 gallon, 14% every morning. I steer for my steers. That is for 12 of them. That's pretty good. 14%, 15 gallon. Are you feeding them out, Jared? Seems like a lot of grain. I actually had. Yeah, you guys do wear your weather. That is for sure. But yeah, that trying to get them up to 800 pounds. Well, that'll do. You just got to be careful they don't prolapse on you. That's for sure. I actually had a buddy. They were so close to getting butchered. Like I said, this year, getting around to getting butchered. Is that portable bothering you guys? I don't know how well you guys can hear it, but I forgot and I left it on scan. But I think, well, to get back to what I was saying, they were getting so close to getting butchered, and it actually prolapsed on them, and they couldn't get it to stay back in, so the butcher threw him a solid and got him in there the next day. Titus, thanks for stopping by, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, good for you, Tim. I can tell you what, it bothers me sometimes. And blow a lot. It makes a difference if I flipped out my front tires. Dean, if you got the 2038R, I wouldn't. I mean, if you were going to run chains on them, I definitely would, because there's not a whole lot of room with them turned in. If you're not planting, see, I run chains on my rear. I've got it set for the front. Well, I need to make it set for the front. I got them, but I just ain't made them. But I don't think I would. My rears, I don't have calcium in them. It's I forget what they call that stuff now. No, rim guard. I think it's rim guard is what John Deere puts in them. So oh, you're okay, Tim. Yeah, we work a lot with them around here most of the time on calls. Usually for the most part, they're pretty good to work with. They get it. We did have, I'll tell you this one, Tim, on my work car on the Subaru, because I don't take my truck on many calls, but on my Subaru, I do have a light set up in it. And my wife was actually going, she was getting food one night or something, and went through a yellow light. It just turned yellow, and well, happened to be a cop there. And they pulled her over, and they said, what they, oh, the one cop asked her about the lights. I guess there was two of them, and the other one said, I ain't worried about the lights, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, he wanted to make sure that you weren't impersonating a cop, which I wasn't there, but, and no disrespect, but like I told Whitney, I said, I would ask her who this day and age would want to impersonate a cop. I mean, you guys got one of the hardest jobs that I've seen. I mean, it's just dumbfounds me how it's so different anymore. I'll just say that. But yeah, she had to actually turn them on, and which she didn't know how, but yeah, Dean, I'd say you get a bunch of snow up there. Where we live here, we usually get a fair amount. We had a bunch of ice today, so. Yeah, I agree. Well, I'll be honest with you, Tim. I actually thought about uh, becoming a state trooper here in West Virginia when I was younger, and I'll be right back, guys. Okay, my pager battery was going dead, but yeah. Anyhow, I thought about getting into it when I was younger, and around here it was. I mean, a cop sure don't do it for its pay. I can tell you that, because I think around here you only start about 45,000 a year, and I don't know. I got in the coal mine, so I guess we'll see how that works out. Hey, that Fix It guy, thanks for stopping by, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Yeah. Guys, go check out his channel. He does a lot of good repair videos. But I've been trying to change the videos around here. Actually got to talk to Josh, which is the Stony Ridge farmer, and real good guy. We talked on the phone for a couple hours, and real good guy. Josh going through a lot right now, though. I do know that, but man, I would love to see my channel get to where his is one day. I hope it does, but and it's climbing slowly. Like I said, all you guys on here, I mean, all of you. I mean, I know Dean. I've seen Tim. All of you, Titus, the Taylors, all of you guys usually comment, and it helps the algorithm on YouTube when they see a bunch of comments on a video. It really does. Only the best. Dean, when did you end up getting your tractor? Or what year is your tractor? I know my buddy's looking at a 30, maybe 30, 32, 30, 34 E series, I think. Something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. But Tim, are you state, county, or what do you? What do you do? But anyhow, guys, I'm thinking that's gonna be the best choice for us. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for what you do, sir. I mean, it's a hard job to do anymore, that's for sure. Uh, I know we all got our comments and stuff like that, but I do appreciate what you guys do. I can tell you a little story happened to us, a couple years ago. Uh, we're sitting here at the house, and I think I just woke up or something. It was in the evening time, and I just woke up, and my wife said there's a black vehicle in the driveway, and she said two guys got out. Well, one guy was kind of walking towards the garage, so I go to the safe, and of course I open up and get my pistol. And by the time I get it back out here, they're at the door. Well, I see a county cruiser pull in. So I said, So I lay the gun on the counter by the door, and it was a U.S. Marshal. I said, huh. He said, sir, is there a Whitney that lives here? And I said, yeah. I said, that's my wife. She said, well, her number was used from a fugitive out of Pennsylvania. I said, huh. So, anyhow, I said, well, and I asked some details there, and they asked if this was her number. I said, no. And it was an old number of hers. With a little research online, though, you could see where it had been sold. And I said, this was a bad situation. I said, up here in the country, I said, people start pulling in your driveway at night. I said, we don't ask questions. I mean, and here come, once everything got straightened out there, and I told them they was looking for a black gentleman. And I said, you're more welcome to come in here. I said, there's nobody in the house. They said, well, we're sorry to bother you. Well, here come two counties from around the house, which I knew both of them, from being on the fire department. And I told them, I said, because my neighbor, he must have been sleeping in the chair, because, I mean, he watches over our house like a hawk. And I said, you're lucky you guys didn't get shot. And, which, my neighbor, I'll do a little short story on him, but he's shot two people already when he had his business years ago, back in the good days, I guess you could call them. They were stealing from him, and he just went and shot them and went back to bed. But yeah, that's when the one boy got here, which I knew him real well, and he actually came and drove my tractor around, and before he bought one. But yeah. Anyhow, November of this year, I had 13 hours when I bought it. Okay, so is it a 2020 or 2019 Dean? I think mine's a 2018 is what mine is. But yeah, that's what I was actually follow a guy on TikTok. He needs to do a YouTube channel. He'd be an instant success on YouTube. But his name's like Fireman 1213 or something like that on TikTok, and I was on his live stream. And speaking of the volunteers, because he always around here, we don't actually stay at station like a lot of, like PA, excuse me, a lot of them stay in station and have bunks and everything. But that's why I asked him if he was, and he said he done both. He was a career and a volunteer. And around here, you don't see that. I guess we don't work well together with the city boys, is what we call them. And now, Uh, the departments in the next county, the paid departments, you know, they're actually on our for ladder. They're on our assignments for ladder, but the John Deere 5075 is Jared. That's a nice tractor. I was actually looking at 5055 this year, and boy, they gave me a nice deal on it. It was a 2018 though, but it was still brand new on the lot, and which I keep care of my tractors, and it was faded out. Some of the stuff was faded out pretty good, which they said, you know, it was just the joysticks and stuff, which they said they'd replace that and make it look good again. Because I can be honest, the only time my tractor's ever sit outside is when it's been in there when I had the loader problems with it. But you're going to have to help me, Jared. What does WD stand for? I don't. WD-45. You're going to have to help me with that one because I ain't sure what WD-45 stands for. But yeah, 5075 would be a good. And it all depends what you want to do with it, man. If you're baling and everything, I think that'd be a good all-around tractor as long as you didn't do a bunch of silage bales. Especially, you probably handle 5075 probably handle a 5x4 silage bale decent. I don't know. My buddy has a 50, I can't remember, but it's an 80 horsepower, and they do a 5x4 silage, and well, they could do up to a 5x5, but I can tell you on the hillsides, his tractor lugs. I mean, those silage bales, he tries to stay empty, you know, when he's going on the hill with them. But yeah, the nice thing I do like about what I come to find out, and you know, a lot of people around here give me heck, you know, because I'm a John Deere fan, but man, John Deere just holds its value. Alice Charmer, yes, they make a good tractor. A lot of guys still run those around here. But the John Deere just holds its value so well. I mean, when I went to trade where I was talking about that 5055E, I actually I call it funny money, but they were, to make the deal right, they were actually going to give me more than what I paid for my tractor, which they weren't taking a whole lot off. But I think if I'd have traded my 2038R in on a John Deere 5055E with everything I wanted, loaded tires, canopy, if you get that 5075E, unless you got a bunch of trees, low hanging trees, I'd definitely get a canopy, but or a cab if you could. But I know they're a lot pricier. But I think the payment was going to be $20, $30 more than what I'm paying now. And then of course with the John Deere 0%, which I told him, because usually what John Deere does on the 0%, just to let you know, if you're going, they charge you for that 0%. They add 5% to the tractor value. So remember that if you go deal with them. But yeah, I almost did trade it, but the biggest reason I never, because I was actually going to go with a zero turn for the yard. I was going to buy a John Deere zero turn, so they were going to sell 2 units. But the way the mining industry is, you know, like this year, you didn't have no calves. It's hard. It's hard to justify those payments, and you know, mine's all but paid off right now. So our county stations all have one paid, and everybody. They're starting to do that around here, Tim. I'll be honest with you, the biggest problem I see out of that is, I don't know how you guys do it, if the paid guy has to wait until he has a crew, but I've seen some of the people around here, the paid guy be the only one on scene until the mutual aid companies actually get there and help out some. So I think that's just good and bad, but it gets you out the door. in my opinion, and I don't know how it is around everywhere else, but it seems like each town has a group of workers that work for that town. If people would use some common sense and either hire a guy from the fire department or something like that, and if it's an in town or a first due area, that guy goes. No matter what he's doing, he goes. He's, in my opinion, he needs to be a driver, and that you get out the door. Because we can usually, we had a fire, which I had a picture of it on the YouTube, and somebody kind of said something about it, so I took it down. I know it's all public knowledge, but he had a point, and it was at 11 o'clock in the morning. I was actually off that day, and we actually had, I think, 14 guys show up for that one. Not counting the mutual aid companies, of course, but the one, like I said, I think the one mutual aid company, he drove their tanker, which tanker call, that's fine, you know, if we need water, but our first due now, we got a pretty good hydrant system, so, but I don't have a small tractor, but my buddy had a Kubota B2650, and I think he had a loader and backhoe on it. It's a nice little tractor. I'll go ahead into it, but a lot of you guys may bash me for it, I'm sure, but when I had the, like I was saying earlier, I had the BX 26 something, I can't remember what it was, but all I had for it was a mower deck, and we was, like I said, decided to get into farming, so I was going to go trade in on a Kubota. My buddy actually owned a dealership. Paid $10,200 for that tractor, brand new, paid cash for it. Went and picked it up. Went and picked it out. They delivered it pretty much that day, I believe. And I put 100 hours on it, like I said. Mowed all the pastures, cleaned them up, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, decided, well, first we had horses, but anyhow, I said, you know, I want to get into cattle, and so I took that Kubota and I said, hey, took it back down to the dealer. I wanted to, at that time, I think it was like the MX 5000 or something Kubota made. It was a large frame tractor, but it is like 50-some horsepower. And they said, okay. Like I said, now mind you, only had 100 hours on this tractor, and it was less than a year old, which I know it's going to lose some value, but they've done the paperwork on it. And like I said, I knew I was going to be sitting pretty because that tractor was paid for. But anyhow, they offered me $5,000 for it. And I said, really? And they said, yeah. So I went to John Deere and traded it on the 2038R. John Deere gave me, like I said, I know there's more markup in John Deere, but they ended up giving me $9,800 out of that tractor is what they gave me out of it. And they took their tractor at the 20, and Dean, if you don't mind, I'd like to know what you paid for your tractor, if you don't mind telling me. But I know when I first started dealing with John Deere on it, they were at $32,000 for my tractor. After talking to another farmer around here that has dealt with them throughout the years, I got that tractor down to $24,000 for mine, and ended up doing the deal, which I'm glad I did. Like I said, I looked at the specs, and if you guys don't watch him, I'm sure you do, but Tractor Time with Tim, that's what kind of drove me to the John Deere. I looked at, I wish I would have maybe looked at Massey too, but I never. Yeah, Tim, I agree. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Kubotas. I'll be honest with you. Kubota has a very nice cut on it for their finished mowers. Uh, Powerful little tractor. I'll say one thing: the neighbor has a Mahindra Max, and my Kubota run circles around that thing, and it was a higher horsepower tractor than mine, but the Kubota would run circles around it. Tim, I agree with you. When I first started dealing with my John Deere dealer, like I just said, they it was $32,000 tractor for that John Deere 2038R, which I got the mower. I priced it with the mower deck, box blade, forks, loader, and I think I paid cash for the tiller. Uh, but yeah, it was. They said $32,000, and I was actually going to buy it in Indiana. I found it there for the 24. Not well, yeah, it was set up. It was kind of set up the same. I was going to have to pay probably 25ish, 26ish for it with everything that I wanted, but and I told John Deere, and which I'll be honest with you, the guy didn't work there much longer, and I didn't say a word about it, but me and the wife were there, and he said, "This is." I said, "Well, this is what I can get it for in Indiana, shipped to me." And he said, "Well," he said, "we consider them the blank of John Deere," and I ain't gonna say the word on here, but and I'm like, really? I mean, but anyhow, ended up working the deal out with him. Talked to, he was kind of like the partial owner, and he worked out a good deal. So, Dean, I had the same tractor mower deck, load, plus forks as well. Yeah, the forks are one of the first things I buy for a tractor. They're just so handy. You can pretty much do anything with them. I mean, I've done a video on it and how much mine lifts, and I love to turn up the hydraulics on it. I'm just, uh, knock on wood, I ain't had an issue with it, except for the loader part of it, and that that was just a manufacturing flaw. So you really can't blame that on the tractor. They were selling them so quick, and they couldn't make them quick enough. So, but yeah, forks are just very handy. Before I bought my hay spear for my tractor, I mean, that's all I used to move hay with was the forks, and it was a pain in the butt, but like I said, they're just so versatile. Did you get what all attachments did you get with that, Dean? That seems pretty high. My dealer wanted 30. Yeah, Tim, I agree, buddy. I was in the same boat. I mean, like I said, when I first went out there again, when I was looking at that 5055E, the salesman just, I told him, I said, "This is what I want." I said, "Do I need to talk to you, or do I need to go talk to the guy who got me my deal before?" And he said, "I'll hook you up." And I'll be honest, I called all around Ohio, PA, everywhere, and nobody touched his price. So he was there to play ball. And John Deere, I know this sounds funny, but they would only go 72 months at the 0% financing. I wanted to do the 84, which I always pay more on my tractor, but it's just that cushion in case something does happen, because look at what happened this year. I mean, I've kept working, but I'm just saying. Back on Tim or Dean, that $6,000 for a snowblower. Whew. I would say that has all the bells and whistles on it, though. But yeah, I guess it's I think John Deere's though they're starting to realize they're going to price themselves out of business. Because I know my buddy, he just went and dealt with them on the 3032E. I think that's what it is, anyhow. And they played game with him. I mean, they played ball with him. So, but I think he said he called around and he couldn't. Nobody could beat him. And that's what he's actually trading his Kubota. I believe he's trading his Kubota in on it. I like to have a snow blower for mine. We ain't had a bad winter here for. Last big snow we had was back in. I'd have to get out my paperwork, Dean. Well, if they were Frontier forks, I can probably see that. Mine are HLA. My box blade was Tar River, I believe. Or is that, no, that's my tiller. My tiller's a Tar River. I can't remember what the box blade was. But it wasn't a Frontier attachment, I can tell you that. But yeah, they're versatile, man. Those little tractors are just, man, they're surprising. Like I said, Tractor Time with Tim, I mean, I know he has his 1025. I know you got the hydraulics jacked up on it a little bit, but man, it's amazing what he's done with that tractor. I actually done, this year I put a lot of hours on mine, I really did. I'm at 300 hours on mine right now. And I mean, that was, well, I didn't have to brush hog the fields that much this year because it got so dry, but I mean, it just seems like anything you do, you get that tractor and take it and go. I mean, weight box is 500. I tell you what, and I'm not promoted by them or whatever, but Dean, if you ever get a chance, look up Titan Equipment. I mean, that's where I bought my hay spear, and they got their weight boxes on there too, which are painted green, but they got some pretty good deals on stuff. We had, my neighbor has an old, or his is a Bobcat 773 skid steer, and when I had my Kubota, like I said, we had horses then, and you'd only have to feed a bell every 3 weeks maybe, because I'd buy them round bells. And that thing done an amazing job. It's the only thing I will say is it is rough riding. The other neighbor, he has, well, his company has Caterpillar, which it's the high track, and man, that thing is smooth as silk. He actually can. He mowed my one field for me one year, and they have the 60-inch front mount. I think he done it in 45 minutes. I mean, it was unreal. It didn't tear up the field, but yeah, like I said, I used that 773 for a long time, and boy, it just beats the tar out of you. He did on the 773. It is a wheel series. It has the wheels. He did have a set of steel tracks on it, which helped it out a little bit. But the tracks started getting wore out, and if the grass was even dewy, you get stuck. I mean, it just sit there and spin the tracks. But like I said, the Caterpillar that the one neighbor has, that thing is a high track, and it is amazing. But you're probably looking at $100,000+ machine there. I like to have a grapple for mine. I wish I'd have got, see, I got to do the hydraulics and everything. If I put a grapple on mine, I have to run the third function or whatever they call it through John Deere, and I think that's probably $1,200 in itself if you do that. But I would like to have a grapple. Postal digger, I don't know. I can't remember, Dean, if you're on my Facebook page, on the Katie Hill Farmer Facebook page, but if you can get on Marketplace on Facebook or something, man, you can get great deals on there. But when I done my fence, I actually borrowed a post hole digger off my buddy because they're nice to have around. You just don't use them that often. But you can usually find a post hole digger. I know around here on Marketplace, a good looking post hole digger for $300 most of the time. Grapples, I'm telling you, Dean, if you look at Grapples, like I said, I'm not sponsored by them by no means, but look at Titan Attachments. They're online, free shipping. Like I said, that's where I bought my hay spear, and they make real good equipment. Their Grapples, I've watched videos of them, and they look pretty heavy built to me. Three acres, yeah, you better get you a grapple. If not, that's going to be a lot of work. Like I said, I'd love to have one. Do you have the third function on your tractor already, Dean? I'd say you probably do, since you have the snowblower attachment on it, I would imagine. Because I would imagine that's how you work your chute. Yeah, I hope I say this right. Knip Cattle Farm, I agree with you 100%. They're, once you use them, once you get your work out of them, you're done with them. They'll sit in the corner, and that's why I said if you can borrow one or rent one or whatever, it depends how much fence you're putting up. But it took me the fence ours in, which I done the high tensile fence, and it took me a summer to do it. And I went 20-foot spacing with my post, drilled every one of them, and the neighbor actually has a fence driver. And when when I done locust post for the horses, I just wasn't impressed with them. Like I said, I took that little John Deere 2038R and pulled every one of them out of the ground with it. Didn't even struggle. It just, like I said, we was in a hurry when we done it. It seemed like the post pushed up, and so on and so forth. So I drilled every post in my field out there is drilled and concreted. So I know a lot of people don't like the concrete idea, but I did try something. When I concreted, I'm talking concrete to the top. That way your groundwater can't get in and set down on the post. It has to run off. But yeah, that's what I mean. Knip Cattle Farm hit it on the button there. That's what I would do, Dean. I would probably try to go buy a used one. But I say we get ready to end this thing, and I don't have it here, but I would like to try to do a little giveaway for the people that's in here. Probably, well, I'll give you your option. Whoever wins, you'll have to hit me up on my email, katyhillfarmer@gmail.com. But we can either do a John Deere hat, or I have some fishing thing that somebody sent me, wanted me to do a review on. It's in a video. If you want to go back and watch it, you can do that. But let's go. It'll be the first one on my screen here. But what model is my tractor? Whoever's first one that says the model of my tractor, the John Deere tractor, will win the prize. And Knip has it. 2038R. My email is katyhillfarmer@gmail.com. Hit me up on there and tell me if you want a hat or the fishing stuff. Leave your address, and I'll either get one off Amazon, send it to you direct, or if you want the fishing stuff, we'll mail it to you. But just make sure you hit me up at the email there, and get you we'll get you took care of. But guys, I appreciate you all coming into the live stream tonight. I really appreciate it. Like I said, all of you guys all comment on the channel all the time, and that's what's making it grow. I think right now we're getting about 10 subscribers a day, so we're getting there. Like I said, I think my dream is to be like Josh on Stony Ridge Farmer. He grew a pretty nice channel there, and it's doing real good for him. It's good. He's gonna have a beautiful farm when he's done. Actually, I'm thinking about going down there. Thinking about taking the camper down. He invited us down, so thinking about going down there and trying it. But which it may take me a while to end this thing because I've never had to end one. But anyhow, guys, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping in and chatting. I might try to do another one this week before I go back to work, but I'm gonna try to start doing this weekly so everybody can get on here. And this is what I like, is just to kind of sit around BS a little bit and have some fun. So, but guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for taking the time and commenting and sticking with me tonight. Thanks for all the thumbs up on this live stream, guys. It really helps out a lot. And we'll see you later.